the result.
क्या- अरे नेटवर्क नहीं आ रहा.
That much only. Two more have jumped. Okay, can we start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we were starting about television, radio box, and yeah, we have studied a lot. The poet in the poem is trying to advise or warn us about the dangers of excessive television watching. Please mark my word, I'm saying excessive television watching. Excessive means when we do something out of the limit, something which is out of our control also. So watching television within limitation is good, but if you make your children sit for hours and hours in front of the television, that's what the poet is warning us about. So could anyone please brief me till where we have done? Just give a short summary of what we have read so far, then I can continue.
So the poet in the starting says that he has learned after quite much observation and experiment that parents should never let their children sit near the television set, or a better thing would be that they should not install the television at all, because he has himself has went to approach many houses and has seen how the children are affected from the television, how they
Very good, continue.
talk and lounge about watching using the television for hours and hours, and how this affects their mental growth and also their imagination. Further poet says that surely it is easy to understand why the mother allows her children to watch television, because in that course she is free to do all her household chores, and the children do not indulge in any mischievous activities. But the poet further warns the parents and all the readers that the television is a idiotic thing which causes much more harm than the uh, benefits. It spots the sense in the head, it kills the imagination dead, it fills the mind, it drops and fills the mind with all the useless things which makes a child dull, and so dull that he could no longer differentiate between the imagination fairyland and the real world. His
Yes, very
brain
good.
becomes obsolete, and his all his mental powers are affected and degenerated to a great extent.
Yes.
Further, he also says that uh, the parents or the guardians should now ask as what else they could give the children, so as they are not indulged in watching television. So the poet answers this questioning them as though what did the early generations did instead of watching television. Further, he exaggerates the thing and he states in emphasis that the children should read and they should read the books, because the books do much more good than the television. They could read all the wonderful books, the great Scott books. Earlier, the children used to read various books there. Even the nursery children had a lot of a gallery of books in their house. In fact, they spent half of their lives reading books. There are a number of wonderful books available in the market, like the of the dragons, gypsies, queens, and whales, which improves the imagination and the thoughts and thoughts of the children, and it
Creative imagination, yes.
gives the creative imagination.
Yes, thank you, Ishan.
Examples of various
Very
books.
good. Thank you, Ishan, for giving us the summary. He has said it very correctly, and he has also explained it with all the good points in it. So, yeah, we have covered 2 pages of the poem, and The poet here is trying, requesting, telling the parents that if you think I'm telling you to remove the television set, then you would ask me how to keep children engaged in our sense, then please direct your attention towards reading books. If children will read books of pirates and whales and queens and gypsies, that will enrich their imagination, that would help them to create betterly in a better manner, picture what they are reading, and that is how they would be able to have a strong mental frame. Was it clear? And reading books, he says, reading books not only strongs your mental frame, but also gives you the power of decision making, of analyzing any situation, of increasing your vocabulary, and of developing your own skills at a greater extent. It may be writing skill, or it may be thinking or speaking skills. It all starts with reading. So let's continue. Yesterday, I was on page number 23. Do you all have your book with you? Children, do you have your book with you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. We will continue from page 23, second part. And the second part says, oh, please. So please, oh, please, we beg, we pray. Go throw your TV set away. The poet is telling the parents that we pray and we beg to you, we implore you, your television set away. It is useless, of no importance. And in its place, you can install a lovely bookshelf on the wall. And he's saying, instead of the television, what you should do, you should install bookshelves on your wall. Bookshelves are far better option than keeping an idiotic box. Then fill the shelves with lots of books, ignoring all the dirty looks. See, it's saying that if you would be replacing the television set with bookshelves, children will give you dirty looks. Okay, then why my parents are doing like this? Why they're replacing the television with bookshelves? So what you need to do? You need to ignore the dirty looks, the screams and yells and bites and kicks. They would try to stop you from replacing the television. They will scream and shout and bite and kick, and children hitting you with sticks, and children would hit you also with sticks. That please do not take that idiotic box away from us. And then the poet says, fear not. Be brave, because that in a week or two of having nothing else to do, see, the poet is giving a very far-fetched imagination story. They would give you the with this. How long they will be bored of doing that? Okay, about in a week or two time, when they will have nothing to do except seeing the book on the bookshelf, automatically their attention will go to read the books. They will now begin to feel the need of having something to read. So, see, compulsive. The poet is saying we have to direct the children compulsively, force them, but not in a harsh manner. You take a book in your hand and a stick in your hand on the other hand, and make the children stand in front of you and say, read, or I will hit you. Read, or I will hit you. Why are you not reading? One stick, then read. Not like that. Give them a chance of not to have any other option to do. So in a week or two, they would not have any other way of passing their time, of keeping themselves busy and playful and engaged, So they would turn automatically to read books. And once they start, oh boy, you watch the slowly growing joy that fills their hearts. And the poet is saying, and once if they start reading the book, oh, what pleasure, what joy you will experience to see that how slowly the children are overtaken by this reading of books. Their hearts will be filled with joy. They would not do anything except reading and reading. They would love it so much. Just give them some time. They will grow so keen. They will wonder what they had ever seen in that ridiculous machine. So it says, as they will grow, they will observe, and this that, and then children will understand that why we have been that dirty, repulsive television screen. It is of no use once they start reading books. And later, each and every kid will love you more for what you did. And the poet is saying that later on in their life, when they will grow and develop, they will turn into fine human beings, better human beings than those who watch television set and have nothing else to do. But these children who have read the books, okay, they would develop a strong mental faculty, imaginative, creative faculty, strong decision making, a balanced personality, and then they would thank you for what you did. That you replace the television set with a bookshelf. So that's what the poem is all about. Is this understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes. Now, having understood the poem, could you point out one or two themes of the poem? Tell me one or two points of the theme of the poem. Do not write. I'm not seeing your messages. Please speak. God has given you such lovely voice, confident voice. Speak up. Don't save it for someone special. That someone special is me now. I have to listen to you. So please speak. Yes, one or two themes concerning the poem. You have read what this poem is about. What could be the theme?
Imagine just going down due to watching television.
Very good. Very good. Imagine it's sorry, all confused name. Yes, it's saying that the imagination power is put to stake, which means there is a murder done. Murder. And what is the murder? Killing of imagination. The imaginative boss, the idiotic boss kills the mental ability. Very good. What else? That is one theme that Shrishti pointed out. Any other theme?
The lack of parental awareness.
Lack of parental awareness. Definitely. The parents do not know what harm the television set is causing them as well as their children. Now, my mother, she used to keep watching these serials on television. And after she would watch it, she would sit and discuss with my father, that woman has done something like that. My God, how evil she is. Ah, They are so pure, see, and she would think, and then she would tell to us, hey, don't do like that. That is not good. People will think like this, people will think like that, and it has played with her imagination. People, people who watch television serial, okay, by what is shown in the television. But what is shown in these television soaps and serials, it is just fiction. It is just for entertainment if that is just imaginative. The real world is very different from television soaps and serials. So that's what I have understood when my mother never stopped watching the television. But yes, she did change the programs. Change means earlier she used to watch all this dramatic, Sahas serials. Then she switched on some devotional Sai Baba and all. Then she was good. Then she happened, this happened. What do you think? What do you think they should do? So it's a lot of time, is being wasted on useless matters. So, what could be the other thing?
So laziness becomes a part of life.
Ah, very good, Srishti. In order to ward off that laziness, we should visit Srishti's house so that
Yes, sir, because I am the laziest one in the whole house.
if you become lazy, visit shows. His brother to ring the
Excuse me, sir.
bell and ting 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 ting.
In the house, I will house in the world. How will I wake up or else?
Okay. Remember, Srishti has proclaimed this that she is one of the laziest person in the whole universe. That is very good, Srishti. In other way, lazy people they try to do their things in a shortcut method. So that is a plus point. So don't be too rude to yourself. What other things? See, I'm telling you, I'm not reading the messages. Do not type, please. Please speak up like Shrishti is doing. If you will type, it will all go to waste. Please speak. What could be the other theme? One she said is death of imagination.
The reading is very important.
Yes, Anshika, come again.
वहां तक नेट नहीं आ रहा है, वहां नहीं बैठा, पता है?
I've been telling you since classic.
नीचे लगा ये फोन तो
Very. I will tell you when I completed my graduation, and there was 1 year gap between when I opted for B.Ed in St. Xavier's, Calcutta. So during that 1 year's time, I used to read a lot of books. Okay, and one of the books that I came across was Robin Sharma's The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. It is one of the best books that I have ever read in the world, and it would always be one of my best books because reading that books had given me a power to understand and realize who I am. And after reading that book, I was thinking Am I making my life a useful journey? Am I wasting it? If I'm wasting it, how should I stop wasting it? So that book has helped me a lot, and I would suggest everyone should read that book at one point of their lives. Robin Sharma's The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari is an excellent book that will give you wings to understand and to fly high in your life. Very, very good book. Many children are there who are lost, who do not know what is the purpose of life. So that book can teach you some of the things. Obviously, everything that is mentioned in the book cannot be adopted. Some of them can be according to your convenient levels. And reading that book has given me a lot of things. Then there is other book which is known as The Secret by Rhonda Bryan. You can watch The Secret movie in Netflix or in YouTube also. This movie of on Netflix or if you read the book, I also have the book, the hardcover book. I do not have it now. I have given it to Soma Miss for reading. She has asked for it. It is one of the best books. That book tells you how you can apply law of attraction in your life and attract anything that you desire. And believe me, it works. If you do read the book properly and if you follow it, the law of attraction works not only for me, but it will work for you as well. And it will help you fulfill all your dreams. So these are the two books which I suggest every person should read: The Secret and The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Okay, and what else do you think is that one more theme we can add? One is reading is important. Third, death of imagination. What else? Then Ishan also said that parents are less aware of the harmful effects of television. That is also correct. What else? What
So
else
the
have you realized?
fruitful use of time and energy and having a proper motive and direction in life so that one is not lost or swayed by the life.
Yes, yes, very good. You proper utilization of time. Proper utilization of time.
So parents for their
What, Srishti? Parents
so
are being
parents
lazy.
nothing sir. Sir that I'm not telling, I'm telling the theme.
Ah, say.
So parents for enjoying their time they are making their children sit near television and they are not knowing what harmful it is causing to them.
Yes, exactly. That is quite true. I have come across families where the children, where there is two child, there are two children in a house, and they have two rooms only. In one room there is the TV, and in the other room the children study. So whenever the mother watch the serial and soaps, she would switch on the television, and that noise of the television will reach the children, and it will, they say, "Sir, we are not able to study at all." We tell our mother to lower the sounds, but she says, "You concentrate and study. You go outside and study. Don't interrupt me watching my television. If I will not watch, I will die. I need to see what happens next. I need to see what happened to the character, whether she will be killed by conspiracy." So you see, it attracts so much the attention of the parents as well. And the children say, "Sir, we are so tired of telling our mother not to watch all these things and not to watch, especially when we are studying, but of no use." So if your parents are not doing that, be grateful to your parents. Because some parents are there who do not understand at all. They do not understand what is good for their children and what or not good. So that is one very important aspect, that parents needs to be educated. So as students, you are being educated by teachers. Make sure you don't do all these kinds of things when you have your own children. Now, let's see themes which I have prepared. The first theme is television is an idiotic box. Please read somebody. Let's see. What idiot things I have written. Yes. Who will read Vrishti? Vrishti is very quiet these days. Vrishti, what is wrong? Please read.
Television, an idiot box. The central idea of the poem is that television is an idiot box that clogs and freezes the mind of young children. The idiot box is not the television set.
Sorry, it is written in a sense. The television box in a sense.
The idiot box, in a sense, is not the television set that is an idiot, but it produces dullness in mind of those who watch it. The poet advises the parents never to install the idiot box so as to save their children's thinking and imagination from decay. Not only an idiot, but television for dads is a monster that hypnotizes children and fills them with junk. The poet says that the poet says that children while watching do not engage themselves actively with the content as they do while reading. Such passively makes them dull.
Yes, see the last line again I'm reading. The poet says that children, while watching television, do not engage themselves actively with the content. You, as well as I, know that children as well as we, if we are trying to learn some skills and if we do not engage practically in it, it will be difficult. If somebody tells us something to do and or is a different thing, but if somebody shows us how to do it and makes us involved in that learning process, then that one is more easier to learn and pick up. So that's what he's saying. Watching television does not engage the children actively with the content, whereas reading does. When a child reads, his imaginative door is open and he starts to picture, he starts to see, he starts to imagine, create create things on their own, and that's how it is useful for them. Very good, Vrishti. Thank you. Now somebody else read. May I start reading? We do not have imagination. Imagination is a creative faculty that helps you to form a picture in your mind of something that you have experienced or thought about. This ability to think of new ideas diminishes when a child passively engages in watching television. The use of capital letters and words such as rocks, kills, crowds, clutters in lines 25 to 33 put stress on what television does to one's imagination. Watching too much television destroys the children's abilities to create or understand worlds of fantasy. Their minds gets clogged and cluttered. They become dull and thus loll and slop and lounge about. Their brains become soft and their thinking power rests and freezes. Very good. Now see, watching too much television. I am laying stress, I'm emphasizing on watching the words watching too much television. If you limit yourselves to watching television, then it is very good. But too much, I'm not telling to you, I'm telling about the children actually, small children. You know, nowadays parents give their children when they are small and if they don't eat 1 or 2 years or even less than 1 year, they would, make the child, that small child, they would hand over that phone, open YouTube, and they would tell the children to watch. That is how they make the children stop crying. That is how the parents make the children engage by just handing the telephone, mobile phone, so that they could keep themselves busy, and it becomes a habit for them. What habit? Many children are there who what do they would not want to eat. When they would want to eat, you open YouTube, play a movie or a song for me, or for me by watching. While watching that, I will have my fun. Okay, so that is a very common example. You are seeing yourself in the society, and this should not be done the way it is. So, watching too much television destroys the children's ability to create or understand worlds of fantasy. So, when these types of children are glued to the television set, they grow up, they become very dull, not interested in studies, not interested in games. They do not understand, value their parents because the parents have given the phone the authority to control them. The parents cannot control them. They have given the phone the authority to control over the senses of the child. So that is what the parents are doing, and they do not understand. Their mind gets clogged and cluttered, they become dull. So the children, what it happens, it becomes dull. The brain becomes soft and the thinking power rusts and freezes. So that what harm television does to children. The last one, importance of reading books.
Sir, may I?
Yes.
Importance of reading books. The poem stresses on the importance of inculcating reading as a habit. For Dal, it is only reading that can fill children with true joy and happiness. Watching television for hours makes them dull and passive. It kills their imagination. On the other hand, reading books will help them to travel to a new and exciting world of dragons, gypsies, queens, and whales. Dahal remembers his
Dal.
day.
It is dal. Dal.
Dhal. Dhal remembers his days when television was not invented and children used to spend their time reading. A time when nursery floors and the side of their beds were filled only with books. It was only reading that will fill children's heart with joy, for which later they will love their parents even more.
Excellent reading. Very good. Now, see, I would like to point out Dal remembers his days when television was not invented and children used to spend their time reading. So Dal here is giving us a reflection of his own childhood days and is telling in our times, nursery floors were filled with books. And not only floors, even at the side of the bed, we would find books. It would be all, around on the floor, piled up by the side of the bed. And before reading, we do read. It was only reading that will fill children's hearts with joy, for which they will love their parents even more. Okay, so this is what the theme, three themes that is there in the poem, and Karan Mehta, now your mic is on. Karan, yes. Is this much understood by everyone? Any more clarifications? Now, after this, let's discuss one or two very important things. I request you to please have a pencil in your hand so that you can write it somewhere in the book. Now, see, this particular poem has a rhyming scheme. Have you identified the rhyming scheme? What is the rhyming scheme of the poem? Who will tell me what is the rhyming scheme of the poem?